Hey guys, Jeramie Lou Photography. Thanks for tuning in today. I'm doing a little test on this today, so hopefully this works out amazingly for everybody. I'm going to do a 3 to 5 minute edit in Lightroom of this wedding that I just shot up at Zephyr Cove in Nevada, in Lake Tahoe. So this was not sunset yet. This was about 5 o'clock. Sunset happened around, it's like 5:30. Sunset happened around 8. So we have some high sun. This is one of my favorite shots from this area. The beach is actually in the back corner here. So we're going to take this edit and just do something really kind of simple to it. So I'm going to go through my process and show you guys how I do things. And let me know if you guys have any questions. Comment below. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. And if you haven't yet, please subscribe. Give this a thumbs up if you guys are feeling good. I'll try to do a bunch of these so you guys can kind of watch them on short little videos. I'm already a minute in, so I got to get going. All right, so I have a little preset here called J-Style. My name's Jeramie, so I call it J-Style. You can call it whatever you want. But basically when I click this, this is a base edit to all of my photos. And what it does is it brings my contrast up, my clarity up, my vibrance up, and I also add a little bit of color up here. So I add a little bit of the luminescence and the saturation. The luminescence up, saturation down a little bit on the reds, and then luminance up on yellow. And this kind of pulls out the color of the skin a little bit more for me. So I love that. I don't think I do any sharpening, but that's basically kind of it. So all my photos kind of have this start to it. Oh, I gotta move this thing here now. So now you guys can actually see what I'm doing with my hands. I have a palette here, so what we're gonna do is we're actually gonna just play with the exposure to start. So I wanna bring this down just a little so we're not too blown out. And if you watch the histogram up here, you can actually take a peek and see where it's at. The histogram wants to tell me that this is a proper exposure. My eyeball tells me not. So I'm just gonna bump this up to what I want. Just something like that. That feels good right there. The color's off a little bit, so I'm going to start with the temperature here and just kind of warm it up. I always kind of go a little bit over just to kind of pull it down a little and see what I can do. And again, I'm using the palette here just to tweak a little bit. Cool. And I see a little too much green because we're obviously in grass, so I'm going to just add a little bit of red there, or pink or magenta or whatever you want to call it. Cool. I love that. There's a natural vignette that's happening, and when that happens, I want to just emphasize it just a little bit. So we're going to take the amount of vignette down, and then we're also going to do the midpoint as well, just so it feels a little more natural. So from right here, this is starting to feel good, starting to look good before I actually going to do my main edit. I'm going to up the clarity here just so I have 29, which is a lot, but I want this thing to pop. I want the grass to look not fake, but fake. So we're going to pop it up here. Obviously, that's way too much. Again, I say I always do that. So I'm going to go like that. Feels good to me. I never actually look at these numbers. I just kind of watch the screen and try to see what happens. So what I'm going to do is use the skin smoothing that's kind of built in. I think that's the best to kind of teach everybody. I don't know why this is here like this. It's just a Lightroom glitch. This is obviously not the image that we're editing. What we're going to do here is play with this. So as I zoom in, this image is a little soft. But it's still a really good image, and it's one that I want to play with and tweak anyways. I shot this at f1.4 ISO 400 1/4000th of a second. Basically I had my ISO at 400. I didn't want to change. I moved everything down to 1.4, and then I just adjusted my exposure to get what I needed on my Sigma 34 or 35 mil. So now that we have our skin smoothing set. This is just a skin smoothing that kind of comes with Lightroom, and what it actually does, it actually decreases the clarity of the place that you're doing it. So remember, we've upped the clarity here. So as you're kind of watching me use my pen on my Wacom, we're just going to go ahead and tweak this out a little bit, just enough. And then so what I do to clean everything up is I'm going to go to my eraser here and then just kind of get this stuff around. So I kind of go over things. We're just going to kind of tweak this little stuff here. And then we're actually going to bring this down just a little. I'm not too worried on the skin with them. So that just kind of brought down my clarity. And then we're just going to check. Everything. We're going to hit our Z button to kind of pull out. And then we're going to hit this little / backslash button. and it shows us our OG, our original picture. So that's where I started, and that's where I ended. Started, ended. Now kind of looking at anything, the only other thing I want to add some clarity to would be to the flowers here. So I'm going to go new, and it does it even though it doesn't give you a little click. I'm going to go to clarity here. I'm just going to go to these flowers. I'm just going to bump the clarity up on these flowers just to add a little more pump to them. And then I think that actually feels pretty good with this image. So the goal of my edits are not to make it something totally different than what I shot. I'm going to warm this up just a little bit, but just to add to what I've shot. Okay, so guys, I'm at 6 minutes here almost. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I'm going to close this out so you guys can see everything. Again, this is the before, this is the after, this is a before, this is the after. I could do this normally in like 30 seconds, but it took me about 5 minutes to do it with you guys. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Please stay tuned for more stuff. Give me a like. Talk to you guys later.